Hey everyone, my name is Brennan. I hope your day's been going good, and today I'm under house arrest. How did I end up in this situation exactly? Well, to make a long story short, where the fuck is Earth? Then where'd I get this money from?
That son of a bitch.
I don't know what taxes are, so I might have pissed off the IRS to the point where they're now monitoring my every move with this ankle bracelet. They're also monitoring me to make sure I can't play games anymore, which I find a bit odd, but who am I to judge? If I was a government agency, I'd fear Crayola Treasure Adventures as well. So how's an alpha chad like me supposed to get my gaming fix?
I need Gubble!
Well, something I noticed is that they're only able to tell if I'm playing games online, so now that I know that, I think I know just the thing to play under their radar. Bought this bad boy off of an old buddy a couple months back. Alright man, you got the goods?
Oh, I got something better than the goods.
You got John Madden?
I also have just neutral goods.
This is a f***ing brick. Wait, where'd he go? Now for probably the most important question though. What exactly are we playing today? Welcome to Ancient Times, also known as 1989, which also just so happens to be the same year that everyone's favorite non-aging gamer, Masahiro Sakurai, began working at the game studio HAL Laboratories at the age of 19. You're telling me he's not 19 now? So who is Masahiro Sakurai? Well, he's... not him. Get him off the screen! Does Masahiro work for Sakurai? No! Wanna know who Masahiro Sakurai is? Well, does this, or this ring a bell? Yeah? Well, believe it or not, he did those. Here at HAL, though, Sakurai was just getting started on his long and impressive journey with game development. He was tasked with creating a simple and easy, yet still fun and engaging game. This game would be Kirby's Dream Land. This idea of an easier but still complex game is how Sakurai came up with the staple float ability to make the game a bit easier, as well as adding the ability to Kirby's moveset as a way to encourage the player to interact more with the level instead of just floating past everything. Before beginning development on the game though, he created a placeholder character which was essentially just a round blob with a face. Sakurai and the team at HAL ended up growing fond of this simple little design though, giving it arms and legs and creating the design that we now know as Kirby. One other little tidbit regarding Kirby's design was that once the idea of Kirby was brought to Nintendo, Sakurai and Miyamoto actually had a dispute over what color Kirby should be, with Sakurai wanting him to be pink and Miyamoto wanting him to be yellow. Kirby did end up being pink on the Japanese box art of the game, but was portrayed as plain white elsewhere.
Pink, yellow, pink, yellow, pink, yellow, white!
This may have been a result of the dispute and them not giving a clear-cut answer for the color in time for the game's release outside of Japan. One last thing I'd like to bring up regarding Kirby's origins are his name. The name Kirby comes from the last name of one of Nintendo's attorneys, John Kirby, after a successful defense against Universal Studios suing Nintendo over the similarity between the names Donkey Kong and Universal's King Kong. Eventually, on April 27th, 1992, Kirby's Dream Land was released for the Nintendo Game Boy in all of its puke green, indestructible, brick-shaped glory. The game was, as intended, a simple yet fun 2D platform adventure game. By the end of the game's run on shelves, Kirby's Dream Land sold about 5.13 million copies. Kirby's Dream Land takes place in, well, Dreamland. This place is ruled under the penguin, King Dedede. King Dedede's a penguin, and since penguins are my favorite animal, I can already tell that I'm gonna love him. Never mind, f*** penguins, the puff is precious. The pink pup, or as he's known everywhere outside of Japan, I actually don't know what they call him, so I'll just say that he was the snowball. Yeah, that works. Anyways, one night King Dedede and his underlings go out into Dreamland and steal all of the people's food along with magical twinkle stars. This brings us to Kirby, who sets off on an adventure through Dreamland to get the food and twinkle stars back, because if anyone's qualified to do it, it's the walking snow cone. The The game takes place across 5 areas, being a very short game and only taking around 30 minutes to complete. Our adventure starts in Green. It's a plains and forested area of Dreamland. We get to meet all of the indigenous creatures as well as King Dedede's underlings like Headband Bear, Fungus, Baronto, Bert, Bomberman, Just a Bird, Gyroid, and the Prophet. As I stated earlier, Kirby sports 2 abilities that weren't all that typical of 2D platformers, or at least not in the way that Kirby executed them. The first of these is Kirby's ability to inflate like a balloon and float. Kirby's other ability is being able to suck up enemies and either shoot them back out or swallow them. Oh, and something some may be surprised by if they don't already know, is that Kirby's staple copy ability isn't in this game. That ability actually didn't exist until the next game, Kirby's Adventure. Odd how 2 of the things that Kirby is best known for weren't part of his original outing. Getting back to the level though, Kirby peacefully strolls through Greens. Kirby hops on a warp star which sends him to another end of the level. From there, Kirby fights Bomberman and continues his... Then we reach the end of the level where we encounter the first boss of the game, Wispy Woods. Wispy Woods is a living tree who is pissed at you for some reason. Wispy attacks by blowing puffs of air to damage you. He also drops apples from the leaves above you to hit you with. The only way you can damage Wispy is by sucking in these apples and shooting them back at him. One thing I actually really like relating to this boss fight is how the fight against the Poppy Bros Sr., because believe it or not, he's not actually Bomberman, serves as both a hint and a tutorial for this boss. It teaches you that you can suck in enemy projectiles and shoot them back at them, which is exactly what you need to do against Wispy. Kirby defeats Wispy by brutally firing fruit back into his face, making him cry and releasing the first of the Twinkle Stars. Now, if I was fighting a giant sentient tree, I personally would have just used a lighter. That's just me, but I don't think Smokey over there would have liked that. That brings us to the next area, Castle Lololo.
Stupid thing stuck on loop again.
Castle Lololo is 4 things. 1, a castle. 2, owned by Lololo. 3, I promise to God I'm going somewhere with this. 4, a reference to one of Hal's previous games. In 1989, The Adventures of Lolo released, which was a puzzle game starring the character Lolo trying to save his girlfriend Lala. Well, apparently they own a castle now. Hope they didn't like it though, because Kirby is about to tear through the thing in a matter of minutes. One thing I actually failed to mention were the short and sweet cutscenes that play before the beginning of each stage. These usually just show Kirby doing something or getting into a situation. It's a nice and fun little inclusion that adds some charm to the game and character of Kirby. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, enter Castle Lololo. Kirby kills the cleaning lady at the front door, then enters. Right after we come out of the door, we see one of the first power-ups in the game, a mic. What does the mic do? It does that. There are also 2 other power-ups that you find for the first time in this level. The first of these 2 is the Spicy Curry, which causes Kirby to uncontrollably breathe fire while on the ground for a short period of time. The next of these 2 is the Mint Leaf, which allows Kirby to rapidly blow puffs of air out, but unlike the Spicy Curry, can do it while floating. About halfway through the level, Kirby partakes in Vandalism and fights Lololo in a mini boss fight. Here, Kirby has to suck up boxes that are thrown at him and spit them back out at Lololo before he ducks back into a door. After dealing enough damage, he's temporarily defeated. Kirby then continues his trek through the castle, encountering Bat, Ghost, Spike Bitch, and that one mask from Mario Bros. 2. At the end of the castle is your final confrontation with Lololo and Lalala, where you must beat the evil out of them for good, because Kirby's definitely not the bad guy here for breaking, entering, and attempting manslaughter. This boss is essentially a harder version of the mini-boss from earlier. You still need to spit boxes they throw back at them, but this time you have less room to maneuver. You'll have to either suck up a box and hold it until you can pop back up Gopher style and hit them from behind, or get right up behind them and suck it away really quickly. Defeating the 2 earns us our second Twinkle Star and progression to the next stage. The next stage is Floaty Islands, a tropical beach level filled to the brim with life above and below ground. Man, I love tropical sunsets, don't you? Well, as for the weather in them, the weather's looking absolutely marvelous. Let's get a closer look at those clear skies, shall we? What in the hell? The level starts out in the tropical area, filled with trees, water, and the local wildlife. From there, you go into a cave entrance, which leads to the next segment of the level. Here is a closed-in cave area filled with spikes, blocks, falling debris, and these things? Once you exit the cave, the final traditional portion of the level takes place on a pirate ship right outside of it. This part of the stage adds in some more of the wildlife from earlier, and ends with what I like to consider the captain's quarters of the ship. Inside the captain's quarters is a warp star, which takes Kirby into the blowhole of a whale. The whale shoots water out of the blowhole and launches Kirby into the clouds, transitioning to where the next boss will take place. At the end of this cloud platform, you'll find a mint leaf, one of the power-ups introduced in the previous stage. Grab it and you'll be taken into the boss fight. This fight, unlike the previous two, changes up the actual gameplay style of things. The boss is in a shoot 'em up or shmup style, like Galaga or as a more recent example, Ikaruga. You have to dodge and weave between the enemy's projectiles while simultaneously firing back at them, in this case, the blimp Kabula. Kabula is King Dedede's personal aircraft, and as such, you must destroy it to progress and get to the king. Defeating Kabula rewards us with our third Twinkle Star and access to the next stage of the game, Bubbly Clouds. While Kirby's Dream Land tends to keep things relatively simple and easy, this level is where the game becomes a bit more quote-unquote harder. Some of the more difficult and interesting enemies are introduced to the player. Two examples being Sir Kibble, who can throw a sharp boomerang, and Scarfy, who starts off harmless and looks really cute, but if provoked will transform and angrily chase after Kirby. If Kirby touches a Scarfy when transformed, the Scarfy will explode on contact. It's time for the big question though, is normal Scarfy cuter than Kirby? No, everyone loves Kirby.
Hey, you might even love Kirby so much you turn into him. I'm obviously joking. Boyo! Boyo! Boyo!
I think that worked. After traversing the clouds for a bit, you'll find what looks to be the entrance of a palace. In and around this sky palace is where the next segment of the level takes place, until you eventually reach the stage's mini-boss. This mini-boss is what looks to be an eye, similar to that of a Waddle-Doo, one of Dedede's other minions, with 4 circles spinning around it. The enemy will spit Waddle-Doos out every once in a while to attack you. They'll also shoot out what I believe to be something similar to cannonballs, and usually dive-bombing the player right after. Defeating them causes a warp star to appear, which takes you to a higher area of the palace, which is in fact so high that it's in space. Kirby, how are you breathing? You break out of one part in a wall, falling down a stream of water and into a pool of water. Immediately afterwards, you'll find a mint leaf to your left, which you can use to break a massive segment of blocks up ahead, with girders moving in between them to make it more difficult to traverse. Pass by some Waddle-Dees and spikes, and you'll make your way to the door to the next room. Outside the door in the next area, you'll find some spicy curry. Grab it, run, and destroy. Break the blocks as you run through the tunnel, almost fall in a hole and die, break some more, now avoiding the hole, and heading into the next room. This next room is a short vertical climb, ending in a door to the boss room. The boss's name? Kracko. And no, before you say anything, he's not named after the drug.
Kirby, how could you? I didn't know you were making me a cake.
Unlike what Kirby here may lead you to believe, Kracko's name likely comes from his ability to shoot lightning-like beams out of his, well, cloud. On top of this lightning beam ability, Kracko also shoots Waddle-Doos out of his cloud and dive bombs Kirby just like the mini-boss did. Other than that, he'll move around a bit more and use the dive bomb slightly more often, essentially creating a more difficult version of the mini-boss from earlier, like what had been done with Wispy and Lololo and Lololo before this. Suck up Waddle-Doos, shoot them back at Kracko, defeat him, and grab the 4th Twinkle Star. This is the last Twinkle Star we need to get before heading into the final boss area of the game, Mount Dedede.
God damn it!
Kirby flies into the side of Mount Dedede on a warp star, bringing him to a room of 4 doors and a picture of King Dedede. The 4 doors have pictures of the 4 bosses you've faced throughout the game, and going into any of these doors will lead you to the respective boss. Mount Dedede is essentially a boss rush. Inside of a door, there will be an extremely short snippet of a level related to that area, with the boss right afterwards. From what I can tell, the bosses aren't made any more difficult for the boss rush, with any difficulty that's present coming from the fact that you have to do them all in a row. Defeating these 4 once again will allow the player to travel into the King Dedede picture and go into the final boss fight. Welcome everyone to the fighting match of a lifetime, which in Kirby enemy standards is about 2 seconds after they show up on screen. In this corner, the King Penguin himself, King Triple D. That's right, eat shit, Ed. In the other corner, the pink, white puff with a black hole for a stomach, Kirby. Are you ready, everyone? The f is the crowd. Ready? Set, fight! King DDD has a few moves he can use against the puffy. He runs around the arena, uses a hammer, jumps high into the air and slams back down into the arena, trips, and even pulls a reverse card on Kirby by being able to inhale him if he gets too close and spits him back out at the edge of the ring. Every time King DDD attacks, small stars come from where the attack landed and stay there for a split second. If Kirby inhales these before they disappear, they can be used and spat back out at King DDD to damage him. Deal enough damage and you'll be able to send him flying out of the arena and through his castle walls out into the sky Team Rocket style. Defeating DDD, we've now collected all 5 Twinkle Stars. Kirby celebrates by doing a jig and becoming a hot air balloon. What a way to celebrate. Being at such a large size and possessing the ability to fly, Kirby lifts the castle up and flies over Dreamland, dropping all of the food back down to the people. The credits roll as Kirby drifts over Dreamland as a newfound hero. Kirby eventually becomes normal size again and falls back down onto a podium where all of the denizens of Dreamland cheer for him. Okay, now that's adorable. And that's the ending of Kirby. Now, I've always been a huge fan of the Kirby franchise, and with the original being my entry into the series, I was really happy to talk about it. What? Oh, okay, it looks like there's a hard mode. A hard mode. Well, it's Kirby, so how hard could it possibly be? Let me just put in the code here. Up, A, and select. Oh, okay, guess he's jumping now. And there's a Cuckoo from Zelda. Well, he seems to move around a lot more. Like a lot. Whoa, okay, he's blowing out some air right off the bat here. Okay. Oh, Gordo's too, jeez. Whoa, calm down there, Wispy. Wait, another one? Wait, what? Come on, it can't be this hard, can it? Oh my god, Lololo, calm down there, buddy. I never meant to hurt you. Please stop throwing Gordos at me. I never meant to vandalize your castle and assault you and la. Wait, no, please. Lololo. No! Okay, you know what? I think I need a palate cleanser after playing Kirby. I'm gonna go outside and take a walk to cool down. Damn it, I knew I shouldn't have left my prototype on the only Xbox One from E3 2013 on. It'll happen to us at some point. Ooh, guess!
Smokey, no. All I can see.
Your damn campfires!
It's a merge. This damn campfire. Can't be having forests in the woods.
No fun when there's fire!